Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I am so excited for you, Miss Charlotte.
Me too.
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. Today, I was hoping you might be able to maybe think about all of the freshmen who
Mhm.
are thinking that this whole college thing is a bit overwhelming or scary, or how do I begin? And maybe just little words of wisdom, what you learned along the path of, you know, you're a scholar athlete. So you took two really hard things. You're an elite athlete and you're going to Stanford. How did you, think about if you maybe like talking to your younger sibling and just saying, there were times that you just wanted to scream, there were times that you wanted to celebrate. Maybe just kind of share with me so I can then share
Yeah.
with others.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you kind of have to learn the hard way about like time management for me. Um, but I think, I mean, obviously you want to do those like extracurricular things, but I think it definitely helps if you like the thing that you're doing. I think it makes everything so much easier because I love rowing. It made it easier to stay motivated. And I was interested in like genuinely passionate about like the sisterhood campaign and that stuff. So it made me want to do it even when it was hard. And even like the research assistant position for Duke, like I liked doing that work. So I think, I mean, definitely try to like push yourself, but choose things you genuinely are interested in because like it makes it so much easier to actually want to do those things.
Right.
Um,
So can you talk about how'd you get these opportunities? Like you're on this elite rowing team. You obviously don't wake up and just join the team. Like what was the path to get there? And then your Duke internship research project, outstanding opportunity. Students want to know, well, how do I get that? How would I go about that?
yeah, for rowing, I mean, that was a little bit easier. I just signed up for like the summer camps and like the intro like camps to the sport, just trying to get a feel for it. And then I signed up for the novice rowing team. Um, then you kind of just get to move up to varsity eventually from there.
But
But
how
like,
did you get noticed by Stanford? What was that like?
yeah, that's more like the hard part because there are a lot of like athletes that are like seniors this year and they're probably not like gonna get recruited. Like that's the harder part. They have some like the time standards just based off times on the rowing machine. Um, that's kind of like something to that will catch a coach's eye or race results. My freshman year, my boat was the only boat that qualified for nationals. So that's probably something that helps me as well. Um, just because like that's like a tangible result that coaches can like trust that you made it there. So those types of things. And then I also was pretty like on it for recruiting because they like to see like an email from you, an update like every 2 to 6 weeks. So I was like on the dot, like every 2 to 4 weeks, I'd email them like anything, an update on something, just so like I'm always on their mind or like on their radar still.
Mhm.
So I think that's something that can slip maybe for some people.
Yeah,
Um,
something so tiny made such a big difference, right?
yeah.
Is there any other thing, ahas, or what you learned that, being a scholar athlete, obviously you found out really early that you got accepted.
Mhm.
So maybe you can talk about like that process from,
Yeah.
what that timing was like.
Yeah, it was I kind of everything came together at once. I did have my Stanford visit and then right after I went to Princeton for that recruiting trip and I actually didn't like it that much. I mean, I it was like a pretty school. I liked it, but the whole time I was comparing it to Stanford and it's just like it wasn't the same. And I thought like Princeton was like gonna be it, but
I remember talking to you. We
yeah,
thought that that was the fit.
I
Yeah.
really thought, but then yeah, it was totally Stanford and I knew when I was there. So I had already like at Stanford I had accepted like that I would do the application. So then I just kind of went all in on that application. It was opened, I think, like the second week of September. And I spent like about 3 weeks on it, which they actually kept messaging me and like asking me where I was in it. Because I don't know, I think some people did it like sooner, like but I just wanted to like take my time a little bit more on it. I did think it was a good application, and my parents read it and they thought it was good, and my grandfather read it and he loved it. And then they told me it would take about 2 weeks to find out from admissions. But the coach called me early and told me it was only like a week and a half, or like almost a week. She called me and said that admissions like approved and I would be in, but I didn't get like the official acceptance letter until like 2 weeks actually. But she knew I was like kind of anxious about it, so she told me early, which was nice. I appreciate that. But yeah, it was like so crazy because I don't know, like obviously being an athlete helps you get in, like that's how I got in, but it's not like 100% guaranteed. Like some schools they'll like you can just like sign and like commit, but yeah.
So now what? So let's finish out the athletic part. So when will you start? When do you get to start practicing?
Yeah.
What does that feel like? Have they shared with you what are the next steps?
Actually, well, the next step, I'm going back on another trip to Stanford where I'm gonna meet the team and all the other recruits from my year. I actually we found each other on social media, so now we have a group chat, and like I have them on Instagram and stuff, so we've been talking a little bit, which is cool. So yeah, that'll be beginning of November. We'll all go up there and I think get some more information, but they do have a really long summer at Stanford, so we don't start until, the first day of school is September 26th.
Wow. Yeah.
And then I think practice starts the second week of school, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. So, it's real. What was it like so you got the phone number or the phone call from the coach?
Yeah.
Did it still seem real, or what, did you open the envelope? Like, what was that feeling of like, it's really happening? Because you and I have talked, until it's in writing, it is not a deal.
I know. Yeah. That's why I was, because right after the phone call, I was like pretty sure that I was in, but I wasn't 100% sure. But my mom did order like some Stanford merch after that phone call. Because I was like, you cannot order anything. Like she wanted to order like a t-shirt before. I was like, you're gonna jinx it. Like you can't. But yeah, when it was in writing, like I felt just like so relieved because I think Stanford is like the perfect fit actually for me. Not like, I don't know why I wasn't thinking of it before, but when I went, I really could see myself there. So it's just like, I felt like everything just like fell into place at the last moment. So it's like really relieved. It felt really good when I saw it in writing.
Let's talk about, you've been with me a few years, and let's talk about, I remember when we first started, you really just didn't know what you wanted to do, where you wanted to go. And I've watched you mature over the last few years. It's been so wonderful. Is there any academic or community service or anything you would share with a younger you who's just starting the process now?
Like a specific,
is there anything that you did, that you experienced? You can talk maybe about your internship, research, anything like that, or maybe switching schools. You switched schools, which was huge too.
Definitely. Actually, yeah. Switching schools, I just didn't really think about where I wanted in a high school. I didn't think it was a big deal. But definitely that huge, or not necessarily huge, but it was a bigger school. I felt kind of anonymous all the time, which I know some people might like. My friend loves Huntington and I don't get it, but definitely being a more active part of a community definitely is a much better fit for me, which is something I had to keep in mind when looking at a college, which schools had to go from my list, because definitely I think some schools, I don't know, I was talking to them for rowing, but I don't think it was academically a fit. So yeah, and I guess a lot of high school I was trying to figure out what I actually wanted to do in college. So I really like psychology and I really like history and Model UN. Trying all those things showed me I think international relations is definitely a good degree for me, and I like language. So minoring in Chinese I think also would be a good fit for me. So I guess just trying different things to see what works for me was definitely a big part of it.
Yeah, you went from a large public high school to a small private high school.
Yeah.
And that was a tough decision. I remember we had to weigh it over heavily.
Yeah.
What about your research project? Can you share a little bit about how that happened and maybe what you learned or the experience?
What did I learn? I mean,
Maybe share where you went.
Oh, okay. So first for the Duke study, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I went up to Santa Rosa. I was only there for 2 weeks that time. I just took over. Someone had to leave early from the project, so I just filled their spot. And that was a really good introduction to like the whole process, and I got to observe and get a little bit hands-on with it. And I guess that really, like, for me, I wrote an essay about this because my picture of science and what experiments look like was totally different than that kind of like test tube lab coats like type of thing. So that totally like changed my perspective on what science could be, and like I could do it. It's not like something that's so out of reach for me. So that was really exciting, and I wanted to do it again. The second time I went to New Albany, Ohio for 6 weeks, which was like the full thing. And I got to be more involved just because I was older, I've done it before, and it was just me and a grad student. So we were like a little team together, and getting to do the whole thing from start to finish was rewarding. And I felt like I got like, I don't know, like in the swing of work. It all felt like, I don't know what the word is, but I enjoyed it, and it was fun to gain some independence. I got to do all my own groceries and my laundry, which is not crazy, but that was like the longest I've ever been away from home. So that
what did you do for your experiment? I love this part. You didn't share.
Yeah, it is a study on dog cognition in puppies from 8 weeks to 22 weeks, and we test them once every 2 weeks. And they're looking at early indicators for puppies to see if they will be successful service dogs, which is really important, just because a lot of resources, time, money, like labor go into each service dog, and at only about 50% of dogs make it through like the whole course. And there's always a demand for service dogs. So that's like one part of the research. And it's a longitudinal study, so it's gonna be a while before any results are fully like published. But also part of it goes to Dr. Brian Hare at Duke's work. He looks at the coevolution of humans and dogs to better understand human cognition, and he also compares it to other animals like wolves and dolphins. So they're doing the same tests on other animals. So that's also like in the works type of thing. But yeah,
someday you may be published.
Yeah, that would be really exciting. Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about your Passion with Purpose project? Because it was something we started early on, and it grew, and I would love for you to share.
Definitely. Well, I had never really considered much about like period poverty as like an individual subject. I know, like, just as a young woman and someone who has like the same struggles every month, and just like the regular struggles of being a teenager, it was like totally crazy when I like sat down and thought about what it would be like to not have access to proper menstrual products or hygiene or any like menstrual care like that. And it's a very like important issue, just because it's like a root cause of things. Period poverty is like a leading factor to dropping out of school for many young girls, and not completing education through like 18 years of age. Like, it significantly increases the chances of being a child bride or child marriage, and it kind of just fuels that cycle of poverty, and also that kind of like social stigma surrounding like menstrual cycles for women. It's just like something, it hit home for me. So that's kind of like what I wanted to focus on and do like the steps. Just, yeah, I'm a feminist. I'm a young girl and I want to help girls like me. And I got young girls like me from a bunch of different schools to work together and help in any way we can. So
it was brilliant. I remember when
yeah.
you first brought it up to me, and of course I wanted to know, why you chose this. And the interesting thing is how many people related to it.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Every time I would speak to another student, they're like, yes, I want to be part of that group. So do you think you'll carry on through college?
I definitely want to be involved. I might try to like have someone take it over a little bit. Just because, yeah, but
transition it to a younger. Now, do any of your siblings have any passion around there?
Violet is definitely more math and science girl. I tried to get her involved a little. She never seemed interested. And Ivy, she's in 7th grade, so she's a little young. Yeah, we'll see about that. But
absolutely. So what do you look most forward to in your future? You just found out you got into Stanford very early. You're going to be doing your dream sport to balance it out.
Yeah.
What are you most looking forward to?
I'm really excited about class. I'm really excited about rowing. I'm excited to go up to NorCal, gain some new experiences. I know it's like still California, but it's going to be different. I think I'm overall really excited to meet new people, meet the team fully, get in the swing of things, have my routine. I think the college schedule, with classes, is going to be a lot better for me because I do enjoy working independently, getting my homework done or working ahead, which I think is better than being in class 8 to 2:30 every day of the week. So having a little bit more flexibility in my schedule, I think is going to be good for me. And I'm excited to race. I think it's going to be so much fun. Yeah.
100%. You're going to love it.
Yeah.
So finally, can you maybe share what it was like working with me and College Ready and how it helped you to get through this process?
Oh, yeah. I think it was really helpful just because the whole process can be overwhelming or difficult to navigate. I didn't really know what to expect or what to do exactly. So just even learning about the process was really helpful, and just staying on track, because sometimes these deadlines seem super far away, or it's you're a freshman and you I don't need to worry about college applications now, but it's all about starting early, getting on the right track. And then when I got to the time to do the application, I had a lot of things to write about on my application, and I could fill all the boxes. So I don't think I'd have been able to look ahead as much just because those deadlines weren't right in my face. And also the resources to look at the colleges and all that information to do college research, I thought was also super helpful, just to get better insight, especially because college visits were harder this year too with COVID. So really getting more information any way possible was good too.
Awesome. So the student portal, is that what you're speaking about?
Yeah.
Having access?
Yeah, having access to all that stuff.
Excellent. Well, I just want you to know we are so incredibly proud of you, and just know whatever you choose to do, it's going to be just amazing future. So thank you so much for your time.